cosmic beings. I'm Harriet Sage, your galactic guide, here live to deliver you the Galactic Guide to Communication. A free masterclass, which is going to be banging, and I'm so excited. There's giveaways and obviously a whole training, and this training is brought to you by the Galactic Guide to Sales. I want you to say hi when you jump in. Who is feeling the cosmic energy the last few fucking days? My Lord, it has been a lot. Hi, queens, jumping on. Okay, so live and replay, I want you to let me know you're here. I want you to let me know what has brought you here. And if you've entered the giveaway, so here's the giveaway I'm doing today in my beautiful little coconut bowl. And I'm going to be announcing another giveaway that I'm doing in a few more days, because giveaways are a whole fucking vibe. I love to give gifts. Who else is gifts is right up there on top of the list. It's right up there for me. It's right up there. So I'll announce all that information later on. I'll do the giveaway later on about the 2 giveaways. So so many energies, feeling all the vibes. Okay, hi. Oh, so excited to be here for the live transmission. The crown is a whole vibe. Okay, so this masterclass is brought to you by the Galactic Guide to Sales. Now, for those of you who have been following me for quite a long time, you would know that I have been speaking about the guides for a very long time. And I have some, you know when you watch those movies, like Archive, and I'm not going to tell you anything else about it, because then I'll give it away. But you know when you watch those movies where it's like at the end there was a giant plot twist and you're like, oh, I never saw that coming. And your whole human shivers and you're like, oh, that was the satisfaction that I always needed in my life. Well, I have a story to share with you about the guides that is one of those in this masterclass. It is the whole vibe. I live for the mind-bending moments, the moments where a human is so well fucked that you're like, I don't even know what I'm going to say anymore. It's what I live for. It's what I live for. So I'm very excited to share that with you. And I'm going to try and not leak it now because it's important for the story. But anyway, the Galactic Guide to Sales is a new technology. What I'm delivering you today, the Galactic Guide to Communication, the free masterclass, is a new technology. These are pieces of the puzzle that humans have been missing for a very long time. And I am very excited to be anointed with the person that gets to bring this to you, that gets to bring this to the planet for those that are ready, because not everybody is going to be ready. That's the thing the guides always tell me, is that not everybody is ready for this, and that's okay, and that's perfect. Like, we look back at the history of Jesus walking the earth, most people were not ready for his transmission. He ended up dying because of his frequency, because of what he shared, and yet most people on the planet that today would know who he is, would know the story about Jesus, whether they believe it's an actual thing that happened in history, or whether it's a hypothetical thing, or whether it's a religious thing. Most people would know who Jesus is, right? Most people understand to an extent his frequency now. And this is the same thing with these transmissions, is not everybody is going to be ready right now, but you are. I want you to declare that you're ready. Are you ready for this paradigm-shattering, earth-shaking, quaking energy to come into you, this activation to come into you right now? So I want you to take a deep breath, close your eyes, put your hand over your heart portal, and ground into this moment, and decide to open up your heart and your energy and your human to this frequency, to this activation, to this galactic activation that I am channeling through for you, Angharad Sage, as the manifester, the bridge for you right now, for sales, wealth, money, precipitation, communication, love, joy, prosperity, freedom. And I want you to say out loud, it is done. It is done. And open up your eyes when you're ready. Your human is prepped. So, The Galactic Guide to Sales is a program mastermind hybrid. Now, the reason why it is now a hybrid, because for those of you who watched my stories a couple of days ago, how I specifically work is this. I'm given a file drop of energy, which I was given yesterday for this masterclass. And then my work as a human is to translate that into something that you will be able to understand. Now, there are so many different strategies for launching different things and running programs and creating an online business and being an online coach or a mentor or a guide or however it works, a channel. There are millions of different ways. And my specific way that I have learned through my experience is that I don't need to know everything. My human, eventually through years of practice, began to be comfortable with the total freedom that I may not know what I'm going to teach inside a program or on a masterclass until the moment I open my mouth. Because that's not my job. My job is to be the vessel. And sometimes my human gets in the way of that. So when I originally launched the Galactic Guide to Sales, I thought it was going to be a program. And as more and more understanding and more of the file drop has dropped into my human, this is when I began to realize that, holy shit, there is no way this is just a program. This is a space for integration, because we all know this, right? Knowledge or information is not power. It's one of those sayings that people are like, knowledge is power. And eventually you unpick it and you're like, wait, no, it's not. I have a soul irk with that statement. And the reason why is, for me, my truth is integration is power. And so this information that I'm going to be delivering you inside the Galactic Guide to Sales needs to be integrated. And me, this unhurried meat suit, is amazing at helping people integrate information, helping people integrate into their 3D body, into their day-to-day lives, into their business, into the very real 3D life that we all live, this cosmic information that we all funnel through and that I funneled through for you through my throat chakra. So there's a reason why it's a hybrid. So there's a mastermind component. It's 4 weeks long. That information just came through a couple of hours ago. So it's a 4-week long container. There you will have access to all of the channelings, all of the live channelings that I share for life, because the thing is about real transformation, with a weight loss transformation, with a relationship transformation, with a mindset transformation, with a business transformation, with an energy transformation, with a healing transformation, it takes time. It happens over a period of time, because we live on this 3D earth where time exists for the most part. For the most part. So transformation, you will get an immediate transformation with the information straight away, but transformation actually happens through integration and over time. We know this, and this happens with my clients. My clients message me that they bought Money Manifestation Mastery when it was live in 2020, and their whole life has changed. They still message me months, years later, and I'm sure I'll still be getting messages decades later from the programs they took with me about how that ended up changing their life over a long period of time. And me, unhurried, as your galactic guide, I don't feel comfortable with this channeling, with this information, with this technology, with a Galactic Guide to Sales, Money and Wealth, so it's like a long name, to just dish that information to you without there being an integration period for you to hear from me about how I've integrated this in my life. And your specific uniqueness is the magic within a mastermind, because you get that specific time held, that it's not fully one-on-one, but there is obviously one-on-one elements because you're asking me questions and I'm leading this mastermind component, but it's straight to your heart portal. You know, when like someone asks, when you ask a question, you get an answer, you're like, oh, that's everything that I needed. So that is important for me, unhurried, the human, to pair with the cosmic Galactic Guide to Sales, Money and Wealth. So it's beginning, the doors are opening on the 31st of October, and it's 4 weeks long. So there's a live component, the channeling training components you get access to for life. The mastermind portion is for 4 weeks, starting on 31st of October. So for the promotion for the Galactic Guide to Communication portion of this masterclass, there is a discount code. Now there's a bit of an overlapping information. You can go to the sales page so you can, you know, read it all if you're a reading person for the information. There's a discount code, and the code is Galactic Communication, no spaces, all capitals. I'll put it in my stories. It's not going to be on the sales page because only people who are coming to this or who have registered that get the code. So it's Galactic Communication, no space, all capitals, as a discount code on checkout. So there's 3 different options for the there's 3 different payment options for this program, Mastermind Hybrid, the Galactic Guide to Sales. The investment currently is $3,333 and the discount code is for 33% off. So paying in full is $2,233 with the discount code. These prices are all the way through for 48 hours until the 22nd New Zealand time. So 48 hours from now, this pricing is live, and then it increases. So this is a 40 investment. So the discount, with the discount code, it's 233. There's a 3-month payment plan and a 6-month payment plan, which is all listed on the page for you. Enter the code at the checkout to use it. Now on Saturday, the 22nd, in 48 hours time, the investment is going from 3333 to 4555 US dollars. And the discount code is actually live for another 48 hours after the investment changes. So if you're listening to this right now, which you are obviously, you can still enter that if you miss the masterclass live and you miss the deadline in the next couple of days. So that code is ending on the, let me see, 24th of October, New Zealand time. So it'll be 23rd, Northern Hemisphere. So that is the information about the Galactic Guide to Sales. The website is encouragesage.com/sales. If you want to join up to that, have any questions, welcome to message me. So, got the discount code. I'll put amazing. Right. So, I might do the giveaway now. Let's do the giveaway. So, for this masterclass, everybody who shared the graphic to their stories and RSVP to the Facebook event went into this coconut bowl vibe to win a scholarship into the Galactic Guide to Sales, this program, Mastermind Hybrid. Now, what I'm going to be doing is drawing a name out right now, and they will get a full scholarship into the Galactic Guide to Sales, Money and Wealth. So I hope you entered. Now, if you did not enter, or you want to go in to win something else because the giveaways are the fucking tits, when this live is completed, you can share this to your stories and tag me and share something that hit you within this masterclass, something that really, really hit your soul, and tag me. And one already went into my boob. Should I read that? It went to my heart. It must be, this person's meant to be it then. So I'm going to be giving away a 30-minute call to me. I'm going to do that on my stories in 48 hours time. So everyone who shares this to their stories in the next 2 days will go on the draw to, and everyone who's in here already will go on the draw to win a 30-minute call with me. Okay, so this person already jumped out. Ava Charles. XO. You have won the full scholarship into the Galactic Guide to Sales, Money and Wealth. Congratulations. You know, like when those cards jump out when you're doing angel cards and they just had to be in there. I feel like I need to do another one. Maybe I'll do another one later on. Because my human didn't feel like she got to pick a name out. I'll pull another one out. Not right now. I'll do it after. I'll do it later on whenever my human feels like it's the right time. Congratulations, Queen. You can send me a message and we'll get you on the list for all the information. Okay, so I'm going to share my mind-bending story with you now. Okay, who else loves mind-bending stories and movies? Why do you specifically love them? What does it do to your human inside? Because I bet you will find there is a direct link between your cosmic identity and your human within the storylines that you see. Because you realize when you're watching movies, your subconscious doesn't know that it's not real, right? When you're watching movies, when you're watching, that's one of the reasons why I don't watch scary movies anymore, because it's just not my vibe. I learned in my 20s. It's not my vibe, honey. If it's your vibe, it's amazing. Or like listening to those podcasts. I mean, they're obviously real, but crime podcasts, not my thing. But what I do love is a good mind-bending situation, because as a human, I love my mind to be fucked as a human, because there's paradigms that we sit in 24/7. It's not the only dimensions available to us. because we are cosmic beings. It shows you what's possible, proves my brain wrong. Yes, everything we had perceived wrong, just like in Archive, the movie. You have a whole perception as to what's happening. You have a whole perception. And then at the end, you're like, how did I not see that? How did I not see this? And so our cosmic, like our guides very often have a very strong sense of humor, mine do at least, like very, very, my Capricorn heart loves it. Like I have a very interesting sense of humor, so they know exactly how to get me every single time. And when they come through with this humor, I'm like, oh my God, this is just the actual tits. Now there's yes, you have won the scholarship. Your phone dropped out. You did miss. Okay, you have won the scholarship, Queen, into the Galactic Guide to Sales, Money and Wealth. I'm so glad you're here live. Exciting. And I'm gonna do another one soon because so you'll have to go back and watch the replay, but as I was going like this, one just popped out and went down into my brow, so it was like straight to my heart portal, so you just had to be in there. But my human doesn't feel satisfied with the fact that I didn't get to pick a name out, so I will also pick a name out. Oh my gosh. Okay, so now I have spoken about guides for a very long time, and I'll tell you one story. And I have many. Oh my God, my human is freaking out right now. I can't believe I get to tell you this. Okay. When I first started this online company, this online venture to be a mentor, to be a coach at the time, right? Before I shifted into mentorship. Before I had made any sales, I was launching things again and again and again, and nobody bought. And it was very difficult for my human. And I was standing outside under the eaves because it was like drizzling one day at a house we'd just moved to because we'd left our multiple six-figure job to pursue this career where I'd made not a single dollar in. Not a single dollar. We left everything. It was, when I look back now, I'm like, you had some fucking balls, but I knew it was going to happen, and the rest of this, anyway, I'll stick to not the side tangents because I want to share this with you. So I was standing outside, and the guide said to me, one day you will tell this story, that nobody bought from you, and you will tell this story, and people inside the container or the live or wherever you are will be dumbfounded that nobody bought from you at that time, because they're like, this was so easy, like, take my fucking money, you're amazing, I love these containers, my human is just in love with this thing, with this activation, with this information, with this integration from you and Harriet Sage, not in Harriet Sage at the time, but still. Now, what I realized as I opened up my laptop to go begin writing my second book, I wrote a book in 2019, a long time, I can't remember which year it was, a long time ago, called Desperate to Determined. Now that book was about shifting from the depressed, suicidal, anxious, desperate human being to becoming the determined boss-ass bitch that I was, and that when I wrote the book, like what it took to shift from A to B. And the guides told me at the time that my second book will be called Determined to Success. When I started writing that book about a month or two ago, the thing that poured out as I began typing is that it's been me the whole time. These guides that I knew and have connected with my whole entire life was me time traveling back from this version of me, back to those versions of me. And it blew my fucking brain. My mind was so well fucked, I didn't know what to do with that information for quite a long time. And I shared about it in my mastermind, I believe, but I haven't shared about it anywhere else. And so now I have this big eternal battle where I'm like, is this the Galactic Guides or is this just fucking me? And so it's all in one and it's all in nothing all at the same time. But what I realized was, for the last quite a few years, I have been doing a lot of time traveling and going back to these important times. And without even thinking, I was saying the things that I heard at the time. And I was like, oh, this is crazy shit going on. And when they told me that, or rather when it channeled through me in the book, for this book, my human felt 300 times better than every mindfuck movie I have ever watched in my whole entire life. It's like a series, you know those series that are like so amazing? Can you imagine, instead of it just being a movie, it was like 15 series of something you watched, and then you found out at the end there was the big mindfuck. Like, that's what it felt like to me. Like, way more than a movie, because I've been living my whole entire life thinking that everything is outside of me, thinking that I'm just trying to make it work with my human. I'm trying to get it behind all these things. And I know you probably understand this. I know you will understand this. And then for it to be channeled through me that it was me the whole time. You know that I made a Instagram IGTV, I think about a year ago. And after I did one of my time traveling hypnosis, like out of body experience, whatever label you want to fucking put it in, whatever it is, when I did that, I came back and channeled something from my diary, and it said, it's been you the whole time. It's always been you. There's never been anybody else but you. It's always been you. And that's the reason why within my work, my clients always feel like they have been guided back to themselves, because I would not be here without learning that I had to always bring it back to myself. Anything that's codependent within past mentors or coach relationships with me, it never worked. And it always was about coming home to me every single time. And my human can handle the fact that the thing that stops us from doing that is ego. And ego has a place, because without it, we wouldn't be able to experience ourselves as individuals. But also there's another dimension to us where our ego gets to lay down and we get to be everything and nothing all at once. And within my mentorship, within my containers, within my channelings, it is always the duality of both. I'm there and you're there. I'm able to channel out information for you, and at the same time, you're able to engage in this frequency, but at the same time, you're also going to be rounding out the energy and looking and integrating these tools for it to always be you. Always be you. Because everything that we learn in this coaching and mentorship space is always just about a tool that we can integrate for ourselves. Because no coach is reminding you to get up for a morning routine in your house. No mentor is in your head when you're mentoring yourself. No strategy coach is creating content for you to fucking share online every day and make an offer. No one is doing that for you. It's always been you. It always has to be you. So with everything, it's always about deeper understandings, deeper layers of understanding ourselves, and integrating tools filtered through our authority is the other thing I would say. Strategies and tools filtered through our authority at the time. And that will change as we grow and change as well. The ego is beautiful to keep us balanced. Yes, absolutely. I love it. Oh my God. So many beautiful comments. I am in love. Okay. Oh, right. So what I have learnt on this journey of being this powerhouse channeler, leader, person in my 3D life, or rather in-person life and online life, is that not everybody is ready for this. And that's okay. A lot of us feel a lot of shame around the different types of containers that we run, or how many followers we have. I love you, Dave. Oh my God. Or the amount of people that we have in different things, or people's different timelines. There's a lot of shame that comes up, but I want to tell you that not everybody is going to be ready for your magic. And it's only your ego that wants you to be further ahead than you actually are. Who you are right now, and exactly who you are right now, this version of you is perfect. And, not but, And you will always be evolving and growing and rounding out that energy and putting it back towards you so that you can grow, so you can be, you know, like when the leaves fall off a tree in autumn, which you guys are in fall, right? A lot of you guys are in the Northern Hemisphere. When it drops down, the ground and the soil break down those dead leaves to be nutrients for the roots to then absorb, for it to go back up into the tree, to grow new life, for the tree to grow bigger, for the leaves to grow, for the blossoms to come, for the fruit to come, for the flowers to come. And this is what you get to do when you round out the energy and bring it back down into you. That is you being an organic, energetic ecosystem. And the people who are ready for it are fucking ready for it. Yes, they are. Once the guide said to me, oh my God, it's so funny. It's so fucking funny. Okay, anyway, both what they said to me and also the fact that I said the guides, because really it was me, of course, right? But anyway, one day they said to me, and I did post it online about a year ago, and they said, they said some people, oh, something to the effect of, oh my God, wait, let me get the words, hold on. Basically the essence was stop fucking around. Some people just want to have like a quick fuck, basically. Like just want to be penetrated. They don't want all this foreplay stuff. They're like so fucking ready. And it cracked me up so hard because quickies are fucking amazing sometimes as well. It's not always just about this big, long saga situation, and some clients are they're just ready. They're just ready. Okay, so as I begin to share with you this technology about communication, I will have a Q&A portion at the end, or like, so you can type in your question now, and if it's appropriate for the channeling, I will answer it as I go, but also feel free to copy it and paste it at the end when I say, is there anything specifically you want some help with integration? Because this is going to be a lot. And if you're ready, that's amazing. If you're not, that's okay. If you're here to absorb, amazing. Also inside my containers, some people just want to absorb. In my transmissions, they want to be in the energy. They love other questions that other people ask. I'm this person a lot of the times in containers, so I get this. And my ego doesn't care because everything always works out. It's a whole energetic ecosystem that works perfectly together. So if you have a question, amazing. If you don't, it's also amazing. Whatever is perfect for you is perfect for the situation, perfect for energy, and perfect for me. Okay. Okay. I want you to think of a time. Actually, close your eyes. If you can close, if you're driving, please don't do that. But if you have a moment to close your eyes and tap into something, I want you to know firstly that you are in a safe space. I am holding you. You have all of our energetic support collectively, and me and you, and this is perfect right now. Okay, so I want you to close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and I want you to think of a time where you had the best intentions with a family member or a client or a boss or a co-worker, and you needed to communicate something with them. You saw the whole world in front of you where it worked out or precipitated that your desires came true, that this whole world opened up and you stepped forward into something so fucking amazing. But it didn't work out. I want you to feel that regret of it not working out, of the things you didn't say or you did say. I want you to feel into the emotions and the hindsight, how you felt about that. The questions. Why did I see them saying yes? Or for me to be able to have what I wanted, or for this to work out? Why did I see that within this communication things would change, but then it didn't? And I want you to open your eyes when you're ready. Now, we all know about emotional intelligence, right? With communication. And when emotions are high, intelligence is low. And I think a lot of us have integrated emotional intelligence and know that it is the backbone to communication, not just going the way we want it to. It's not just about a KPI of something working out, but also it's about our integrity, and it's about who we are as humans and who we stand, what we stand for, and what our standards and boundaries are, right? And who we are. Emotional intelligence is really important for maintaining relationships, for them to be able to continue to move forward throughout space and time. However, what a lot of people haven't mastered is how to integrate context, wisdom, and shared values into communication. What a lot of people haven't mastered is how to integrate context, wisdom, and shared values into communication. The first step is emotional intelligence, and without emotional intelligence, we cannot integrate this technology. Now, I want your human to let go a little bit as I begin to share this transmission with you. Now, what I mean by that is, you know how we have a strategy mind and a mind that thinks about something and wants to answer a question straight away, or we have a mind that just opens up a portal and feels into something, similar to, you know, how we visualize. This is just a very real thing for me in my childhood. My mother would always ask me, or ask us rather, as a family when we're driving. It was amazing on like road trips and stuff. She would say, if we won $5 million in the lotto, because she bought lotto tickets every single week, if we won $5 million in lotto, what would you like to do? Like, what would you do with $5 million if you won $5 million in the lotto? Now, there's two ways of doing that, right? The first way is that I would pay off the strategy side. I would pay off the house loan. I would buy a car. I would give it just $20,000 to my auntie and to each of my siblings, or whatever it is. There's the logical, systematic, strategy type answer. And then also within that, there's the portal that we can feel into. It's like the world. And you feel into how you would feel about that. And it's like, would I tell family? It's questions. It's not like necessarily, you're not necessarily answering these things. It's more the vibe. And you're like, oh my God, like how would someone feel about me driving a Range Rover? And would they know that I just won lotto? And would I tell them? And then, oh my gosh, I don't want to be out of integrity. What would I do? What would I do? And then would I put maybe I'd put an investment thing and just live like I don't have it, and just live off the interest that I get from the investment portfolio, and I get to sit and hold within my human that my family is set up for generational wealth for years and years and years to come, because I've got $5 million that's going to continue to grow all of the time, that gets to get passed down from my families. And what would that mean for them, and the conditioning that then my grandkids are being raised in, because money isn't a worry for them. That's a whole different paradigm. You know how we can just go into a world, right? You just go into the world and it's like you just observe it and you see around, and you questions come up, and there's not necessarily, some answers come through, but it's not about having an answer. That is the vibe that I want you to have when I ask you these questions. It's not about answering the question. It's about letting the question form the world that you are viewing. It's like what are those things called? I've forgotten. From when we were kids, and you had that little goggle thing, and you like flipped the thing, and it would change the view, like the character that you'd see. Our old school like VR type things. I don't really know. You know what I mean? Is it a kaleidoscope? I don't know. And then you press the thing, and then it'll be Mickey Mouse, and you press it, and it'll be like Barney, and you'd press it, and it'll be like something else. Like that's what these questions are for you to formulate the view of this world. It's for you to feel into this world and feel into the vibe of it, and just allow yourself to go. You know, when you have a meditation, or you're visualizing, making your first $1 million, you're visualizing being able to leave your job, you're visualizing the impact that you'll have when you're making 6 figures a year. Do you know what I mean? Like it's the whole encompassing experience. I want you to do the full 360 rather than specifically just answering these questions, okay? So this technology relies on you dropping your human out of your brain a bit and allowing this to drop down into your other chakras, because the reason why we have to do this with this technology is otherwise it's just staying in these top 1 or 2 chakras. For this to directly impact your human and your view on the world and how you communicate. For this technology to work, it has to drop down through your throat, down through your heart, down through your solar plexus, to all the way down to your root. It has to be integrated in all of your chakras. So if you are only thinking about it and not feeling it down in your lower chakras, down in your whole body, without having to have answers, this will not integrate. And this might be something you have to come back to and revisit, and you're welcome to. It's going to sit on Instagram. I thought I was going to take this off, but it's going to sit on Instagram, so you're welcome to come back and rewatch this. So allow it to drop down. Allow it to drop down, okay? So feel free to close your eyes as I do this, if you feel called, if you feel so called, because I'm going to ask you questions that the guides the guides gave me about communication and about how to master wisdom, context, and shared values into your communication. Specifically, you could also think about that time that we just brought up before, where you had this communication with somebody, or maybe it's multiple times, or a group of people, and you saw that it could work out. You're like, this could work out for the benefit of everybody, but it didn't work out. They blew up, or you blew up, or something happened, right? You could also use that as the context for this transmission right now. Okay. Oh, wait, I have something else to share before we go there. So another part of this technology working, the preface for this working, is you have to also heal. I'm going to share a story before we go into the technology part, okay? Before we go into the question world thing. So I already shared about how emotional intelligence, we all know how emotional intelligence massively impacts our precipitation and what we're creating through our throat chakra, right? Because it's based on our communication with others, and when we lack emotional intelligence, we're lacking intelligence, we're lacking the vision, all the things. It's just almost like a non-start, and we wonder how we got anywhere in this world without emotional intelligence, because it was a complete game changer once we've integrated it, right? The other portion of this is we have to heal, and the reason why is when you want something different in your life, everybody in your world knows you as the version that you already are. And one of the reasons we are the version of us that we already are is because we've been projected on. Other people, through their own trauma, their own conditioning, through their own perceptions, project onto us, whether that's emotions, whether that's words, whether that's conditioning, they have and they continue to project onto us. It goes out of their body and lands into us. Now, without us healing everything that we've received, it's like we're holding all of these boxes, right? All of these moving boxes. Without us healing that, we are still the version of us that precipitates the current version of us. So if we don't change that version of us that's precipitating that version of us, we cannot actually shift and go forth into a different paradigm, because we have to be able to put the boxes down in order for us to hold on to something else, in order for us to drop down through our chakras, something like this technology. There might be things that come up in your heart portal. There might be trauma and scars that come up in your sacral or in your solar plexus. There's going to be things that come up. And we cannot have this communication that I'm going to teach you. We cannot have this communication with people if we are projecting onto them. And the reason why we project onto them is because most of the stuff that we project onto other people, it's like a giant game of pass the shitty boxes. It's not our energy, and so we're trying to get rid of it to somebody else because we don't even know what to do with it to begin with. So if you have that weaved throughout your vibration as you're communicating, it is going to affect the precipitation and the effectiveness of this technology. Just like when we learned emotional intelligence, before we had emotional intelligence, that lack of emotional intelligence impacted our technology of communicating, right? These are all building blocks that drop in. So I'm going to share with you a story, an integration story about a real life integration from my heart, about how this changed everything with a family member, with my healing, and how I integrated this technology because of how the healing changed, how when I did the healing prior to this communication, how and why this changed everything. So I was raised in a household with 5 kids. I was the oldest of 5 kids, and my father passed away when I was 7. So you guys, a lot of you probably already know this. So I was the eldest, and my mother did her absolute best to raise us. I know that she chose better than her parents did. And some of the things that I experienced in my childhood were still not okay. They were extremely traumatic and way past a boundary of what is okay in any dimension, especially me and my values and what I believe that children should and should not experience. So for years, I have wanted to be able to rekindle that relationship, but I always had this hanging over me, how I was treated and how I was physically treated and how it was not okay. It was a huge sense of trauma for me. And I wanted to be able to have a conversation with my mother about it. So what I did, instead of going to her and saying this and that and the other, and essentially wanting to air our dirty laundry, or for her to understand me and for me to understand her and for us to be able to come to a common ground. However, there's a whole lot of ways of navigating that, right? What I realized is that I picked my parents. I remember picking my parents before I was even born. I've always known this, that I picked my parents. And so therefore, I am part of the creator of this. And once again, you may not be ready for this. That's okay. This may never be right for you, but that's okay. Now, this is interesting because this is where the gaslighting or the gaslighting enabling comes in, right? This is the difficult conversation that we're going to have between trauma and owning your trauma and owning your co-creative multi-dimensionalist, and the gaslighting and the fact that someone doing something, like I was nearly raped, and I know that I was absolutely manifested that, and that's a whole different story. But there's the the lines between the two, right? So how I experience it instead is this. There's 2 dimensions, and both are right and neither are wrong. And just as one is right, and I'm speaking about the co-creating side right now, it doesn't make the part that's not right, that it wasn't right and that it's not okay, wrong. And when I talk about that part, the part where it wasn't okay, it doesn't make it wrong that I'm the co-creator, right? And that I had a part in this and that I chose this. Both of them get to exist simultaneously, like the airport people, both of them get to exist simultaneously without making the other one wrong. And this is our job, essentially, as a human, is to hold all of these dimensions. This is our work as a fucking human, is to expand multiple dimensions and hold it all within us, right? Those of you who have worked closely with me, a lot of you are here right now, you know this is the work that I do with you. This is the work. This is what I impart into my clients, is the holding multiple dimensions, multiple truths, without it being wrong, holding the duality, understanding it all, unpacking it all, having each part having its own time and place and all the things. So anyway, back to the story. Before going to her and having this conversation, what I did was heal all the versions of me that needed her to be sorry, or needed her to say that she was wrong. Because this is my version, this is one truth, I chose my parents. I knew that my father was going to pass away when I was young. I knew that my childhood was going to be traumatic. And I knew that it is not what I needed, but it was part of my karma, part of my life plan in order for me to be who I am today. It absolutely made me who I am today. And it absolutely changed the way that I parent with my kids. And it is the most delicious and heartbreaking situation all at the same time to be parenting my kids differently than I was, but it is the most rewarding situation that I could ever possibly be in. So I am thankful that I was able to carry that baton so that my kids don't have to. Oh my God. Okay. Anyway. I'm trying not to pull my eyes out. Okay. So before I entered this conversation with my mother, I needed to heal every single version of me that needed to be right. And the question that I ask all of the time, every time I'm shifting into a different dimension with somebody or a business or my income or my fulfillment or my freedom or my relationship, every single time I ask myself this question: what part of me gets to be seen, heard, felt, or expressed by not having what it is that I say that I want? I'll say it again for those of you if this is new technology for you. What part of me gets to be seen, heard, felt, or expressed by not having what it is that I say that I want? Now, in this instance with my mother, the part of me that gets to be seen, heard, felt, and expressed is the little girl that was traumatized. It's the little girl that wanted to be saved. It's the little girl that didn't want to put up with it anymore. It's the little girl that wanted somebody to come and save her and tell her that this is not okay. It's the little girl that wanted to be apologized to. It's the little girl that wanted her parent to take responsibility for what she was doing to me. Now, if I entered into that communication with my mother with that would be projected out. And this is the reason why we end up in situations where it just ends up in a giant fight and a giant defense situation, is because we haven't healed all the versions of us first. That is our work. Healing ourselves is our responsibility. Nobody could ever do that for you. Nobody could ever choose to forgive somebody. Nobody could ever choose to look into these dimensions. Nobody could ever choose to believe this, to be the self-leader that chose that she is creating all of this, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Nobody else can do that for you. And if somebody else tries to shove it down your throat, it will just create more trauma. So this is a choice that you have to make if and when you are ever ready. And if you are not, that is fine. That is absolutely fine. I send you all of the love. So what I did is I spent years, but in particular about 12 months, healing all of these versions of me that was wanted to be seen, heard, felt, and expressed by not having what it is that I say that I want. Which is this relationship with my mother, a new relationship, the relationship that I deeply desire as an adult. And something also needed to be brought up with my mother. So I'm going to share with you how I communicated with her and how this changed everything. And then I'm going to share the technology, because I haven't got there yet, but I want to share with you how I truly integrated this healing part first. So emotional intelligence first, second part is healing. Okay. And the third part is the technology. So I sat down with her and I said, I obviously read the energy and knew that it was the right time, because not everybody's going to be ready for this. Okay. But it's the right moment for her. It was the right moment for me. The best we could get with all the stars aligning. And I said to her, I would like to speak to you about something that happened, some events that happened in my childhood. And I want you to know that I also know I'm an adult and I have an adult perspective of this, and I've done a lot of healing around it. And I know that you were doing your best. I know that you chose to do better than your parents, and I know that you do love me. And there is a little girl in me that has been deeply traumatized by these set of events. Do you know what she replied to me? Before I'd even started, she said, and I bet you just want your inner child, this little girl, to be witnessed and for me to not say anything. I have never been more shocked in my whole entire life, because I have never had any of these types of conversations with my mother before. I had no idea that she would be capable of even understanding the type of conversation that I wanted to have with her, let alone for her to be able to say that and do it. It absolutely blew me away. Now, why did this happen? Because I had healed the versions of me that wanted to be seen, heard, felt, and expressed by not being able to have this conversation. So that bandwidth of that dimension and that communication being able to happen was now open. The highway had officially been opened for that energy to work, because the years before was all the roadworks happening to create it and build it and perfect it. And it was the most healing conversation I have ever had with anybody on this whole entire planet. And she held me, and she witnessed me, and she apologized, but I didn't need any of it. That's the thing. I didn't need any of it anymore. And that's what made it even more special, because I was finally ready to receive it. And before that, I wasn't. If she had said that to me 12 months ago, 5 years ago, I would have been like, no, what the fuck? What sort of statement is that? It wasn't the right time, because I hadn't done the work for it. So this is why the emotional intelligence and the healing are the prerequisites for this to work. I'm going to read a couple of your comments because they've been so heartfelt. Before I shift on. This is crazy. I legit was having this exact conversation with my flatmate yesterday about my mother that I needed to heal before speaking with her. Yes, Queen. Yes, Queen. Thank you for being dedicated to this work for you and for the world and for your leadership. I'm crying with you. I love you. This expands what's possible for me between myself and my mum. Yes. I love you. Oh, okay. Right. Are you ready to be even more expanded? More and 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 more expanded. Okay. This is the part where I'm finally ready for you to close your eyes and receive this transmission and feel into the world, not necessarily the specific thoughts and the strategies. Allow this to drop down past thoughts, past logic, past understanding, past thinking of how you integrate this. Allow it to drop down through your chakras. And I'll probably take you through a meditation as well after I've shared this with you. So allow it to drop down and down and down and down and down through your chakras. You can either think about a situation that has happened in the past right now, a communication that you want to have, or a communication that you desire to have in the future about something that you are moving through right now, something that you want to precipitate for the future. Okay. Now the guide starts like this. If you wanted to create this, by what bounds would it be so? And what bounds would it not be by so? I'll read it again. If you wanted to create this, by what bounds would it be so? And by what bounds would it not be so? Number 2. Are you choosing this? Are you choosing this? Number 3, think of your long-term goal and standards with this particular energy. How do you act in accordance to engage that energy? Think integrity in motion. Think of your long-term goal and standards with this particular energy. How do you act in accordance to engage that energy? Think integrity in motion. Next question. To what end? What are your collaborative goals with this exchange? I'll repeat. To what end? What are your collaborative goals with this exchange? Next question. If you were choosing to create this, how would you show up? Think language and exchanges. I'll repeat. If you were choosing to create this, how would you show up? Think of language and exchanges. These questions are not answered necessarily individually, but as a collective. At each touch point of your communication to formulate the energy and dialogue. This is the context of your inner being and communicational energy. This is how you create the context and how it is precipitated through your voice and your vocal cords for your inner being's energy. Now I want you to take this world that you have floating in your head and some of it down through your lower being, and the stuff that's residually sitting up in your head and around your crown. I want you to imagine little gates, little channels that get opened up between each of your chakras. So one just above your throat, and you open it up and the energy begins to drain down like water. With each exhale, it drops down into your throat. And then the next gate opens up from your throat down to your heart, and you open it up. And with each exhale, it drains down into your heart. And it begins to intermingle with your heart portal, your dimensional energy, your truths, your identity, your mission, your love. And from there, the channel opens up between there and your solar plexus. The gate is released. And with a big exhale, it drains down into your solar plexus. And begins to fill through the top of your stomach. You can feel the energy, new energy pouring in through your crown that's now also dropping down through everything that's opened so far through your channel. And then from your solar plexus, the channel opens up to your sacral. And everything drains down into your sacral, into your life force, into your passion, into your being, into your actions. And then from there, the channel opens up down to your root. And everything flows down into your grounding, into your security, into your most 3D chakra on this plane, where a lot of us hold a lot of our duality. And I want you to imagine the water is dyed 2 different colors in your crown and in your root. And through your breath, the water begins to circulate and the dyes begin to mix. Like a vortex, it spins and swirls, and the color changes to be one color throughout. This represents head, heart, and lower 3D chakra coherence. This is the point at which creation begins to precipitate rapidly and thoroughly and powerfully for all dimensions of you and for your soul's mission. And I want you to feel what this feels like, this equilibrium, this peace or satisfaction or joy, whatever it feels like. I want you to note what this feels like right now. And when you're ready, you open your eyes. Now, being a human means that we have a lot of moving parts to us. There are a lot of dimensions. There are a lot of moving parts in regards to the emotional intelligence, and some things being healed and some things at the very beginning of being healed. And then there's the dimensional work of the head, heart, lower chakra communication, head, heart, lower chakra coherence. Now, with these questions, these are not to be answered individually. This is not just a KPI. You're welcome to drop in any questions that you have right now, by the way, for integration, or anything that I missed, if you want to copy and paste and put it back in. Now, what was I trying to say? Head, heart, coherence. I'm going to read a comment because maybe that I'm meant to read that. Self-responsibility, unconditional love, freedom, patience were my themes. That was so beautiful to experience it. I felt the energy so intensely. I'm so proud of you. Now, that's what I was going to say. Thank you. Now, the reason why these are not questions just to answer with our head is because your inner being doesn't always have words. So we have to focus more on the context, more on the wisdom, more on our values and our standards as an energetic being, and allow that to be then, once you've got that head, heart, lower chakra coherence with your frequency, what happens is, instead of it just being the head coming out of your throat or like some random trauma coming up through your throat from a lower chakra, what happens is you have this coherency, and all the way down from the earth, all the way up through your root chakra, and you have this head, heart, lower chakra coherence, the energy that comes up and then comes out of your throat in the communication is so pure and is so well delivered. And your human is also ready for the dimension shift, just like I experienced with my mother, because of the work you did prior in regards to the parts of you that didn't actually want this and that was holding it back, the traumatized part, the wounded parts, the tantrum parts, that the little inner 2-year-old that doesn't want to put their boots on at the door and they're screaming, no, I don't want to put my shoes on. And they really want to go to the party, but they're like, no, I don't want to leave. And you're like, but you want to go to Joe's party. But they're like, no, I don't want to put my shoes on. That's what happens, basically, because we consciously want a dimension shift. We consciously want this communication to go well in order for this whole world to be opened up, this whole precipitation. And yet there's a part of us that's standing there all going, no, I don't want to put my shoes on. So once we have healed that version of us, when we have the emotional intelligence, and when you use this technology at every touch point, you revisit that energy portal at every touch point for your communication, that is when the portals open up. This is when it all precipitates with the full integrity of your inner being. I love the whole not having an answer, not trying to answer. So fucking expansive. Yes. Lean on the expansiveness of yourself. Communication from the place of a healed and coherent energies. Holy shit. Yes. Yes. Yes, queen. I love that quote. In fact, wait, no, I won't screenshot because I don't want it to. Oh, I could take a photo with this phone though. Hold on. Because I don't want my phone to like. I love that quote. Thank you, Jen. So, I hope your human is feeling very well fucked. Because that is my mission. That is the mind bending, wow, the whole paradigm just changed vibe of the work that I do. The work that's going to be in the Galactic Guide to Sales, Money and Wealth. This is just a precursor and a small portion, side tangent that is going to be happening in the Galactic Guide to Sales, Money and Wealth. I love you. I'm going to do the giveaway. Wait, no, I have another one to give away because my human didn't feel satisfied with that. So I'm going to give away another spot into the Galactic Guide to Sales, Money and Wealth. And you are welcome to share this share this live. It'll be on my Instagram. Do your stories and tag me. I'm going to do another giveaway in 48 hours for a 30-minute one-on-one call with me. So your human is, yes, emoji town. Love it. Okay. Thank you for being here with me and for having this co-creative energy. I love you. Thank you for being ready to receive this transmission. If you want to integrate it deeply, then come join the Galactic Guide to Sales, Money and Wealth. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Julie, I don't know how to say your last name. My apologies. Julie, is it, unless it's 2 words, Sasha Clouter? I'll message you. I'm not sure if you're here. Have I seen your comments? Were you here? If someone wants to tag her, that'd be great. Oh, you don't know how to spell it. But anyway, I will message her. I'm sure she'll catch this as well. This was just the best 222. Oh my God. Powerful. I love you, queens. Thank you so much for being here for this transmission. I know it will continue to serve your human throughout space and time for a very long time as you integrate this. This was everything. Thank you. You are so welcome. I will see you very soon. Bye, queens.